Hey, so the idea for today was to share some questions that I've gotten about the record. We're also going to share some new music. I'm not sure we're going to be able to do that today. As you can see, I have been working. I'm pretty much constantly working on something. Um, but I'm not sure how the throat and everything is going to cooperate for today. So we may or may not get to that. But I did get a few questions off the record. I think I've got about pulled out about 4 or 5. I'm going to try to answer now. So we'll dive right into that. The first question I got was what inspired me to do this record, and to do it the way I did. And I've always wanted to do it. Um, Having a record out was something I always wanted to do. I'm getting up there. Time's running out, so I kind of decided, at the very least, I want to get all these songs recorded so that I can, kind of have something that I've done creatively to pass on to my kid, to my daughter, was the biggest reason. And it just kind of all came together. And I thought, with the way things are now, might as well just release it and see what happens. But I sat down, and it was originally, the idea was to do like a 4 or 5 song EP, and it was going to be all brand new stuff. And it just kind of kept coming. And I think at the end I ended up with probably about 15, 16 songs all total written for the record. Then when I went and looked at everything, there was a theme that I wanted to follow, and I just pulled out the ones that really captured what I was going for thematically, and the idea that I wanted to get across, and these are the ones that fit. And that's really all it was. I wanted to do it. It came, everything fell in place, so I did it. Where did the title come from? Calling the record Beauty. That was, ironically, that was the very first thing I did for this record. I tend to work in a weird way. I'll come up with a title first for an entire record, and then go, okay, let's write the record. It's just kind of the way it works, or the way it worked here. Everything was very out of sorts and backwards from traditional, the way it's traditionally done. But I'd gone back and looked at. So I'd had somebody mention something to me that from probably 5-10 years ago, that I really like your songs, but they're all kind of depressing. And I didn't know how to take that. I got kind of offended at first, and then I, went through pretty low spot, life-wise, and decided, I'm going to sit back and look at everything. And when I kind of objectively looked at what I had done previously, they were good songs. I liked them, but it was a bunch of just whining and complaining and just being angry. And, there's enough of that. That was kind of my thing. Like, there's enough of that. So I'm going to take everything that's happened, everything that I've got, all the material that I've got, the inspiration that I draw from to write a song, and look at, okay, this was a bad thing that happened, but let's look at it, what good came out of it. And I started kind of trying to look at my entire life that way. Everything that comes up, every low point is there for a reason. What am I supposed to learn here? And so that's kind of where the record came from. Like, for example, if you listen to I Do, which is what song I really like off the record, I love the way it came out. I'm honestly just asking myself questions and answering them. That's it. All total, things ain't been that bad. I really don't have anything to complain about. On the subject of inspiration, what was the inspiration for Down? Probably what I would consider the more somber song off the record, I guess, if that's the way you want to put it. And honestly, one of the songs that to me was good. I liked it, but it fit. I liked it on the record, but to me it was kind of a people like it, they like it, they don't. I really didn't care. But it's turned out it's been very well received, more so than I thought it would be. So honestly, I was talking to a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, business partner, Alan, we were talking about some random thing, and I said the first line of that song is to be serious but smiling, kind of while everything's falling apart. And I said that to him, and I went, "Oh, that's a line. I'm gonna keep that." I wrote it down, and just kept it. And then when I got to that song and started putting it together, that was the line that I built off of. And it was really just kind of looking at myself personally and the way the world does a lot of things, that everybody wants to put on a good face where everything's great, everything's fine, but everything's falling apart, and you refuse to address that and try to fix it. It's like it was the little dog, room's on fire, this is fine, everything's fine, and it's not. And it was how, also how we can be really selfish. And I include myself in that. I put myself in that. The very things that are just tearing your life apart, making you miserable, kind of destroying you, you will fight tooth and nail to keep because it's what you want. So that was kind of that. Do I have a process for writing? No. Yes and no. Like I said, I approached everything on this record completely different than I normally would have. I used to be kind of a stream of conscious writer. It's like I'm going to play and sing at the same time and then start taking pieces. This whole thing came together very differently, where I would do all the music first, and no titles, no nothing. Just I've written this piece of music. I like it. I would sit down, put everything together, and lyrically not even think about it. And then I would just bounce it down, bounce it over to my phone. Hey, wake up. Bounce it over to my phone, and then just listen to it throughout the day and approach it as, okay, you tell me what you're supposed to be. Listening to the song. You tell me what you're supposed to be. And that was the way 90% of the record came apart. I would have the music. On a couple of rare occasions, I had a line that I would build off of, or I would just kind of listen to the song, humming along, and a chorus would come to me. That was kind of the way Helpless came about. I was just listening to it in the car, driving, and just kind of humming along, and I got to the chorus line and just busted the whole thing out just in one take and pulled off to the side of the road, wrote it down, got back in the car, and then just built off of that. So yes and no. I don't really have a process. I just kind of attack the song as it comes and let it tell me what it's supposed to be, if that makes any sense. So whatever works, everybody does everything differently. That's the way I do it. I will say, for every single song on the record, I would get done with it, and then it went through a vetting process, kind of. I would send a copy to Alan Wise, one of my best friends, love the guy to death, and my buddy Jared. Yeah, he's also one of my best friends. Not just a buddy, they're both probably two of the best friends I have. But I would send it both to them, and Alan would listen to it in a way that was very different than what Jared would listen to it from production. Alan would listen to it from, just like, do I like it, kind of thing. And they would give me their feedback, and I'm like, okay, yeah, you're right, we're gonna change that. Matter of fact, Jared produced the entire record, so the reason it sounds as good as it does is because of him. He did an absolute amazing job with what I gave him to work with. So the last question I've got here that I'm gonna cover today is, what is my favorite song off the record? That is kind of a Sophie's Choice moment. I love them all. I really do. I'm very proud of all of them. Probably, if I had to say my absolute favorite off the record, Worth It All, I love, because it's the final song on the record for a reason. It's because if you listen to everything else, has been I just kind of went back to the beginning of the journey that I've been on to get to here, and wrote about it. And it honestly, every bad thing that's happened, every good thing that's happened, Every tear, every mistake, every price I've had to pay has been worth it to get to right here. But the song that probably means the most to me off the record would be Dragonfly, which I want the second instrumental, because I hit one of those days where I sat down to work and it just wasn't happening. Nothing was happening. I felt like, okay, I'm done. This is stupid. I don't need to be doing this. I'm just gonna quit. I'm just gonna put this stupid thing away and go back to just wishing that I had done it. And kind of sat there and was like, okay, God, if I'm supposed to do this, give me something. And I fired everything back up, grabbed my guitar, sat down, and that song came out. And the version you hear on the record, aside from the production that went into it and the different elements that were added later, the song that's on the record is the song I recorded right then. 15 minutes start to finish. I recorded it, recorded the background, and then sat down and played the melody over it, and that's it. So that one to me is probably the most special, just because it's kind of an affirmation, like, yeah, you're supposed to be doing this. So anyway, it's a few questions covered. I hope that answers some questions for you. I appreciate those of you who've asked. Really cool. So we'll do this again sometime, and hopefully have some new, well, we definitely have some new music to share for you, but hopefully we'll be able to actually share some for you in the next, I don't know, everybody's on lockdown anyway, so I should be able to get it done this week. So I will see y'all later. So I'm going to take a shot at this. It's a song called Only Your Memory. And I don't like to give a lot of backstory about songs. Everything means something to me. You need to interpret whatever something means for you. I don't need to tell you. Nobody needs to tell you how to feel about something. But for me, this is kind of a healing, acknowledging something, because everybody's got someone or something, some moment in their past that they can think back on that just for that period of time makes things better. It's just a happy memory. For me, it's a person. And so that's where this came from. I just needed to get it out, and so here it is. Maybe things haven't gone as I'd planned them. As a kid with no worries or cares. But now after these years, God knows how many tears. Something that I need to share. Some things only your memory repairs. Sometimes just thinking of you takes me where things are so beautiful, peaceful and calm. Some things it just takes your memory. Maybe I've had to fight through morning. It's been a struggle to get through the day. When things start getting dark or I'm failing in style, things don't seem so bad when I remember your smile. Because some things only your memory repairs. Sometimes just thinking of you things. Just takes your memory, just the thought of you, and snap me back into my place. Just thinking about, oh, what could have been, put a smile back on my face. Some things only your memory repairs. Sometimes just thinking of you takes me where things are so beautiful, peaceful and calm. Some things just takes your memory.